Let me know when we're live.
Everybody starting?
Is this gravy?
We're live.
I think it's some type of butter.
Live.
Hey everybody, this is Dwayne from Schell Games. This is our March edition of Dinner with the Devs. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. We are going to start off with the Game Developers Conference that a lot of us went to. We'll also have Mike come in and tell us about the not GDC Game Jam, about the cool things that happened there. But as always, we'll start with our introduction. So we'll start on the far side, opposite from me.
Hello, I'm Sean Patton. I'm a principal designer here at Schell Games, and I was the design director on I Expect You to Die, our VR escape the room game.
Hey everyone, my name is Kwame Bab. I'm a senior VFX artist.
Hi, I'm Mike Liu, one of the many Mikes here at Schell Games. I'm a game engineer, and I work on various VR projects as well, including I Expect You to Die.
Good, Dan.
Oh, hi, I'm Dan. I'm a game artist here at Schell Games.
And then you already met me, Dwayne, with the marketing team. And then manning the chat.
Yeah, around.
Cool.
There's so many different. We can probably talk about.
Hey everybody, I'm Mike T. I'm a senior engineer here at Schell Games, and I'm over there working the chat, so I can post links and all that good stuff.
Cool. So Mob 2, there's going to be about 7 of us coming. Some people are coming off of different meetings and projects, but at Schell Games overall, there are a little over 100 of us. There's 110 people, all based here in Pittsburgh. But you're going to meet some people of every discipline, except for our producers here today. So let's get started. GDC. So Sean, he spoke twice at GDC, and he can tell us a little bit about that, and we'll get rolling with some open convo about what they liked, disliked about GDC, some cool things that they saw. So let's get started.
Yeah, no, it was great. As it worked out, so I had a talk about playtesting in VR and virtual reality, and some tips and tricks for rapid prototyping, and things like that, and I submitted it to the main conference, but I hadn't heard back, and the deadline for the virtual reality developers conference, which is part of the first 2 days of the whole week-long conference, that deadline was coming up. So I submitted the VRDC too, and then I ended up getting in both, and so I ended up giving the talk twice, once on Monday and once on Friday. And people said it was useful, and I had a good time giving it, and so yeah, it all worked out. It was a good talk. I think it was there on Friday.
Well, Mike says it was good. Why? What was so good about it?
It was very insightful. So even though I was on the team, and I was like experiencing a lot of things, you know, the development process and the cycle that we went through, Sean's like level of insight into kind of the things that he wanted to derive from the playtest and like a lot of the reasons behind why he set things up the way he did. I didn't realize that. I mean, I thought I knew.
There you go.
I thought I knew it all.
Even people on the team learning new things.
Very cool. Oh, we have another person join us. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Mike Lee. You might have seen me on the stream before. So I'm an advanced engineer at Schell, and I'm a little under the weather coming from GDC. You know, the classic conference flu. So I definitely shouldn't be sharing food with anyone. So.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so it looks like somebody's gonna serve you food, so you don't touch anything.
I don't know what we're eating. It looks like chicken biscuit.
Yeah, so we had a variety of sliders from 10 Penny, a local restaurant here in Pittsburgh, off of Penn Avenue and 10th Street, hence 10 Penny. So they're super creative there. So I'll give it up to the crowd. What do we like about GDC other than Sean's awesome talk?
I was really happy to hear that you gave a talk about that. I wasn't there Monday or Friday, so I missed both of your talks. But I got to do a playtest using your rapid prototype. So I was one of the people who playtested in using all the Brown box stuff. And it was something that I'd never, I mean, I've been here for 11 years, I'd never seen you prototype like that before. And maybe you had, I just have not on all your projects and I haven't play tested them all, but being part of it was really cool because honestly, it was really fun. It was, and it really did give a really good kind of, it provided a good glimpse into the future, into what you guys were trying to do.
Need water?
And it allowed me to be part of it as well as you went, just because you kind of had to pick things up and put it back together and move things in the right way. You talked about how things were supposed to go as I was playing in a non-spoilery way, So
yeah, no, so
it was really fun.
part of so the physical prototyping we're talking about is we call it ground blocking here because we try to build the virtual environments out of cardboard and other physical things because the best analog to VR is R. And so when Kwame tried it, right, we built one of the environments, one of the puzzles for I Expected to Die, basically out of cardboard and other physical things. And I got some questions after the talk. It's like, that worked really well for I Expected to Die and sort of the room-based physical puzzles. Does this work for other VR titles? Like maybe I have, virtual hitboxes and someone's trying to do a rhythm game or something like that, or, And my answer was yes, I think it does, because, in the example of a virtual hitbox, you could have lights that turn on, and like that's when I'm supposed to put my hand places, and it's just like sort of, the way of, quickly prototyping with physical things is so good for VR because you can do these sorts of things, and you are led down a way that makes more interactions physical, which is good for VR. Like, if your interactions are all like in the 2D screen plane, like why aren't you making a 2D game? Like, groundboxing leads you down a design path with more physical interactions, which is better at showcasing what VR is good at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when I play tested both the pod level and the train level. Like, I felt like you guys just made a physical escape room, and so that was exciting, just to be like part of the playtest there, because like I was just solving puzzles like in a normal in like a real escape room, right?
Yeah.
But I think for like the other types of applications, there could be some challenges then if like your world space is super large and like you have a level where you're kind of exploring a large environment. But you did cover that.
Yes. Yeah. No. If you have a game where you have a lot of teleporting movement mechanics or things like that, there's probably going to be interactive set pieces like, how do I hack this door to get through to the next area, or how do I use this one machine that and you can mock up just those interactions, right, and then have people test those quickly too. So yeah,
cool.
Well received.
Did you have anyone ask you any questions?
Yeah,
afterwards?
definitely. Yeah, and it was funny. I was able to integrate some of the questions from Monday's talk. I then mentioned or referenced in the Friday's talk. Like, someone had asked me the question. There's a whole section on using sort of spy cameras, tiny cameras. For the phone-based system, you need a way to see what people are seeing in real time so you can play test effectively. And even here in the future with the USB-C phones that go to HDMI, that doesn't work with every system. On the Gear VR, the pass-through doesn't support that, things like that. So spy cameras are still useful. Actually put a spy camera in the device so you can see what the people are seeing. And someone asked me, have you ever sent basically over the network the real-time position tracking data from the heads and hands, and then have that feed a simulation on another PC so you could watch that? And I was, that's a great solution. Would definitely require some work on the tech side. And so if anyone wants to make that and make that available on the Unity store, that would be great. But definitely a lot of insightful questions and things
cool.
like that. So.
Kwame, it was your first time at GDC, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I think I'll tell us a little bit about. I'm actually really interested to hear how you feel about GDC as a first timer.
It is. It's intense. GDC was intense. It was. It was really cool. on one hand, it felt weird because I've been in the industry for 11 years, but I've never been to GDC, so I'm sharing this experience with a lot of students and a lot of, you know what I mean? And they're like, but it says senior artist on your badge. And I'm like, yeah, but this is my first, it costs money to come here. You know what I mean? So, but no, it was really cool to be amongst all these other game devs. Like that, I think to me, one of the coolest things was that, just knowing that everybody I was surrounded by wanted to learn more about whatever they were passionate about making, or talking about whatever little part of the pipeline that they contribute to, and being amongst them, knowing that everybody wanted to talk about it was really, really awesome. And then secondly, just knowing I could learn something about some of the games that I've just played, or some of those techniques that they've used that I've been curious about. For me as a VFX artist, especially here, for the longest time I was really the only one. So it took me a little bit to realize I was actually going to get to meet and talk with other VFX artists. I was like, oh, that's going to be really great. And then furthermore, like for the longest time, I've been one of the only Black developers here. So I was going to get to talk to other Black developers, right? Which is even greater. So like those are all the things. Those are my focuses. Yeah. When I went, and I really got to kind of indulge in all those focuses, which was really cool. So yeah, I think my main goal was really to meet new people, make new connections. And then third was like sit down and really like watch a lot of talks and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was overwhelming. There was a lot to learn. I had to learn about the West Hall, the North Hall, the South Hall, and all that stuff. And getting lost and like figuring out where the Expo Floor was and all that.
Yeah, it was slightly worse this year because they're still doing construction and everything.
Right.
But
in the South Hall, yeah.
It's huge and overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a big place. I hung out a lot with my friend Dave Shaver, who is a former Schell Games.
He gave a good
talk. He gave a good talk too. I had to miss his talk too, but he gave a good talk, and so he showed me around, and he works at Naughty Dog, so he was like introducing me to a bunch of people too. So I met a lot of people. It was a lot of fun. So the roundtables were interesting. That was a new format. I'd never been to a roundtable like GDC does it. So it had its ups and downs. Like on one end, I was like, this is how this goes. So how did they do it? So generally there's a huge room with a big square table. Yeah. And then a big center. Sometimes there's a mic, sometimes there's not. Usually the MC tries to figure out how they're going to pass this mic around, which usually takes like 10 minutes, which is kind of sad. It's like, what are we doing? It's like, So all the ones I went to were a little bit hectic. Usually it starts off with a question, or if there's a topic that they put on the session before that, that's what the session will be about. And then they try to get the conversation rolling, just like kind of like we do here, right? It's like, what are we talking about? Okay, cool, let's talk about that, and we'll people will comment and ask questions and things like that. Some ones I went to were like okay, and there's a lot of students, and there's a lot of like. There's a lot of different types of developers there. There's a lot of different people trying to learn different things, and because they are, the focus of the talk sometimes will go one direction and not come back, And so you can't really do anything about it. So sometimes you just, you
need a moderator who can rein in the rat holes,
right? And push it back.
And you went to like a visual FX roundtable.
I went to one VFX roundtable that was started by the Real Time VFX website, the group. Oh. Okay. So I went to that. And then I went to two others. I went to one called Black Developers Matter roundtable. That one was spectacular. It was a spectacular roundtable. But the MC was very focused on it. It actually ended up being like a workshop. We had like big sheets with markers and figuring out initiatives to talk about what's important and what we're going to do next and how we're going to do it and who's going to be involved. And it was amazing. Cool. It was incredible. So that was really good. And then I went to another one that was called Diversity Advocates, which was pretty impressive. It's pretty amazing too. It's just about advocating for the diverse people in the industry and talking about what they deal with, whether it's LGBTQ or people of color, disabled, people. If you have PTSD, you're overworked, you have anxiety really bad, all those things. And people were telling lots of stories and sharing stories and stuff, and talking about and other people were talking about how they handle it and how they deal with it. So that was just amazing because it was like you could see the catharsis, like everybody needed it, right? And you could tell that everybody felt better because they were all talking about it together as a group of developers, right? And I was like, this is so amazing. This is wow, you know. So that was really, really. Those two were particularly like amazing, just to see people come together all as game devs, feeling like, no, I couldn't share this. It feels better to share it with them because they understand some of what we're dealing with as game developers every day, you know, or just the ugly sides of the industry. You know, some of them are being hit by that, and we know what it is because we read it and we have friends who deal with it. So there's no one better to share that with than other devs sometimes. You know,
Exactly.
That was really, really cool. So those are some of the talks I went to, or some of the roundtables. Yeah, so they definitely have ups and downs.
And, you know, the roundtables are ups and downs, but they're key to go to because they're not in the vault, right? You can't get get that roundtable experience by watching the vault is GDC Vault is a way of watching GDC talks, Game Developers Conference talks later on. So yeah, that is why it is good to go.
There's a rare time where it's very participatory. So I like, as you said, some of them are more like workshops than roundtables. So you break up into groups. You usually have prompts. And then you work in smaller groups that usually have people you've never met before. And then you come back together and present sort of the things that you have discussed. So
Cool. Yeah, it was my first GDC as well.
Really? Well,
It was, yeah. And like you were saying, it's a little bit overwhelming. You're like, whoa, okay. All of these people are here in the one industry, which is cool. Right. Because I mean, I've been to a couple of marketing and PR conferences, so this was like my first first game developer conference that I didn't have to work an event. So that was kind of nice, you know, not in a booth, exhibiting one of our awesome experiences, but still, you know, in a 10x10 place. Right. It was interesting because I don't know, just coming in with a business and marketing track, I thought GDC was very interesting, just hearing like all the meetings that are going on and how people use it for jump offs, for partnerships and collaborations, and seeing where so and so left this studio to go to this studio. I need to talk to them to see what's going on, you know. So I thought that was unique. Because it's similar to what happens with marketing agencies. Whenever they have their conferences, one skips to another agency, and they go there for meetings or talk about their clients and things like that. So I thought that was interesting. And so, in terms of sessions, I went to a bunch of different mobile sessions, seeing what's going on in the mobile advertising scenes and stuff like that changes a lot. And just trying to see what other studios are doing and how we compare to them. It was more of a kind of like a marketing positioning or market positioning things. Okay, well they do this in this space, direct, indirect, no competitor. All right. So that was the lens that I was looking at the conference. So I thought that was interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be completely different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you spend a lot of time on the floor, like the Expo floor?
Oh yeah.
Or, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Then just in sessions, like if I hear somebody, they talk about, it's like, oh well, we don't really do that. We're in such and such a space. It's like, oh really? So what is it do you do?
Talk to me about that space.
Yeah, exactly. What exactly do you do? So so spent a lot of time on the Expo floor, which I thought was really cool. Went by a couple studios that we've been talking to about some cross promotion opportunities that we'll be talking about in a couple months. So excited about that. Cool. So meeting face to face, because you get emails or tweets from people. It's like I don't know you, So you get the face to face, and then the next email's so different. It's so good to meet you. What's up?
Right.
Yeah,
it is very different.
Yeah, that veil is lifted. I was like, oh, they know my face now.
Right.
That's funny. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I think this year was, I don't know if they've announced the numbers, but usually it's like 25,000.
28,000 they announced it just today.
Oh yeah. So
a lot of people.
I mean, obviously that's not the entire game industry, but that's a significant chunk. And so you can go to GDC, not actually go to any talks, and just spend the entire time meeting up with people in the areas around the convention center.
So that's kind of like what I focused on, because like, you know, we have the GDC Vault access, so if you miss a talk, it's not the end of the world. But there's a lot of things at GDC that as you guys were saying, like the Roundtable, you can only see while you're there, and then that's it.
Right.
But one of them is the Expo Floor, right? So the reason that I like to go to the Expo Floor is to see new stuff that's coming out in the next year, but also see stuff in prototype stages. You know, it's really exciting to kind of, because like sometimes a company will show their new tech a couple years in a row, and you get to see like what their progress is. And being able to see stuff like, you know, years before it comes out, kind of like you're prepared. Like when the next new thing hits the market, like you've got a leg up on everyone else, because like you've tried out the device, whatever it is, or like you already have in the back of your mind like what you're gonna make with it, or and you can also like kind of like meet people and be like, hey, I work for Schell Games, and you're doing this like VR thing, like give me one. You know? Sometimes that happens.
Nice.
That's the kind of stuff I would never, like, because it's my first time, I would never try. I'd be like,
listen, what can
that's
go
cool.
wrong?
Yeah, I know, the worst, I guess, is
I mean,
they just say no.
I guess don't lead with, I'm representing Schell Games. Just say, give me one.
And
Don't say, give me one.
Maybe say it in a better way. But yes,
yeah,
I hear what you're saying, yeah.
I worked on this, but I want that right now.
Give me one.
At the very least, you can get a T-shirt. You know, like I would say about 90% of my wardrobe comes from conference giveaways.
Oh my gosh, the Fortnite booth
Was
Dude,
insane.
was just, there were like literally piles of T-shirts.
Yeah.
Like just like I saw them refilling the buckets, and they were just like pouring T-shirts out of a giant box into like smaller boxes.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one.
It was like, what is going on? Why do
they
they
had a
have
bunch
so
of
many
different
T-shirts?
ones. They
I
also
got one
had
for
the-
me. I got one for
Anyone-
April and my daughter. I got them.
Did anyone get a pinata?
No, I saw people walking around with
Walking
it.
I
around
don't
with
understand why
that.
they're pinatas.
I met this one girl at the Gnomon party, and she's like, I didn't have a pass to GDC, so someone gave me a pinata, and I just wore it on my head, and like I had someone like lead me by the arm like into the conference, and no one questioned. Because they're like, clearly
There you
you
go.
belong here. You've got
Pinata
pinata on your
on
head.
your head.
You're clearly one of us. Yeah. So, did anybody see the mechanical? Anybody ride the pinata?
Greg did.
Greg.
Did he really?
Greg did.
Yeah.
I saw people ride it. And
Yeah.
I was this close to taking like video. It's like this guy's having the time of his life at a conference. I'm not gonna take it.
I'm gonna
You know?
just let it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it probably doesn't need documentation.
They
Dude,
had
do
a-
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pinata shaped mechanical bull.
Yeah,
Which was
well,
amazing.
As I explained, it was right in the middle of Epic's
Yeah.
booth, which is this Epic's Fortnite
Yeah,
area.
you're very much toward Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't played Fortnite. Is there like a pinata? Like, what's the?
That's the loot pinata.
It's the what?
It's a loot pinata.
Oh,
It's their
okay.
loot box.
Oh, that's
I
hilarious.
didn't know. I just,
Oh yeah, no, that's.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I love it.
And it like talks to you and stuff. It says like, oh, what are you doing there? Hey, how you doing? Oh, you have a bat. Oh, what are you gonna do with that bat? And you're like, I'm gonna bust you open, pinata.
That's amazing.
Yeah, then.
Yep.
Oh, that's so good. I didn't know that.
Have you guys tried a mobile Fortnite? It's like the
haven't.
controls are surprisingly.
I've heard it
really
works
good.
really, really well.
Like I was, I first saw it and I was like, "There's no way." Like,
I know.
And like an FPS on a phone, like this is the dumbest thing I've heard.
Mhm.
And then I tried it. I was like, "Oh, well, wait, this actually works."
So what? Like, what's
exactly-
different? Is it?
It just like so.
It just works
the,
well,
The
it's
controls
basic?
are very simple,
Okay,
right? Like
yeah.
you hold it and then like you have your right thumb that you drag the camera around,
Mhm.
and then like your left thumb is like a joystick. Right?
Okay.
It-
So it's basically two stick.
But it just like it just does
works
things
well.
right. Like, and there's very few buttons. Like there's a button for jump.
Mhm.
There's a button for like you tap the screen anywhere to shoot.
Mhm.
And then there's like a 2-button system for placing like the ramps and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
So that gets a little
Building,
bit
yeah.
tricky.
Yeah.
But like just the UI is just really well done.
Yeah,
Like,
I've heard,
everything's in the right
people-
spot. The graphics look
Yep.
like normal Fortnite. Like it plays well. Frame rate's good.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
That and PUBG Mobile. It's crazy that You can
Wait,
play both
oh.
of those PC games.
Wait, PUBG,
PUBG
Mobile too?
Mobile?
Oh yeah, PUBG Mobile.
So
know
is,
that.
does that actually work?
Apparently
Yeah.
it runs,
Yeah.
it runs
Better
it
than
runs
it
better than it does on the PC.
They're trying to. Yeah, and I'm not sure which one was first. I feel like PUBG Mobile was first, but
Fortnite's
those two.
Fortnite's eating his lunch right now.
Mm-hmm.
PUBG Mobile.
Yep.
Mhm.
I did not know that
I think
happened.
it was first, but in China.
Mm.
And then, and so then Fortnite beat it to
Yeah.
worldwide, but I think both are
That's funny.
somewhat available worldwide.
Yeah.
Not in all territories, so sorry.
Battle Royale format, pretty popular there.
Yeah,
A little popular.
Pretty popular these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already invaded VR. You know, that's already a thing. There's a bunch of like battle royale knockoffs on VR now.
Really? All right.
That's what E3 is going to be. Every game will have a battle royale mode.
Mm-hmm.
Every AAA game has this multiplayer mode.
Yeah.
Will have a battle royale.
Like how there
mode.
used to be a zombie mode for everything.
Yeah, how exactly.
Now there's
So,
a battle royale.
yeah. Call of Duty.
I thought it was funny that I think they just updated the single player again. It's like the second update. The game's been out forever, but they just took all the resources and focused on Battle Royale.
Right.
It's like all the single player people were like, wait, what about, I don't want to play Battle Royale. They finally just added some new thing.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
So what other, sorry, go ahead, Mike.
No, oh, Mike.
What?
I thought you were saying something.
No. I'm done too. Go ahead.
What are you saying?
All right. So I was going to say, so you brought up the one about the new, games and experiences that are coming out. So what did you see on the Expo Floor that, developers could be excited about, but more importantly, gamers could be, excited about in the, next, 6 months, year?
There's a couple things I saw that are protected by NDA.
Mm-hmm.
So I
So you
can't
don't
talk
have
about
to
that.
worry about those.
But those things were really, really good. I got to play the Wireless 5 Pro.
Okay.
And I didn't really think that, like, first of all, like, wireless transmission of HDMI has been a problem for the past couple years, just because, like, the tech wasn't really developed to kind of pull that off, right? And then when they're like, the TPcast came out in China a
Mhm.
while back, I was kind of skeptical. I never tried it, but I was like, hey, I don't know if like this is like legit. But apparently people said it worked. And then they had a version for the Vive Pro, which, as you might know, has a much higher resolution.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty good. I was surprised. It worked. I couldn't tell what the resolution, like, so the game they were playing was Serious MVR, which is like a really low visual quality game. So I couldn't tell like if the resolution was like downscaled or anything like that, because I mean it by default it just kind of looks
Low res.
yeah, but it worked, and it was transmitting the sound to. Apparently, though, it doesn't work with a microphone. So, and microphones are really low bandwidth too. So I don't know, but maybe that was just like a oversight. But the one thing that's notable is that the transmitter, or sorry, the receiver for the HDMI signal is you can occlude it. So what that means is like you can block it with your body. You can block this signal, even though it's wireless, right? So they attach it like antlers or something like to the back of your head, because
It's an antenna.
Yeah, like an antenna.
like a TV antenna.
Well, it is an antenna. You know, and I was trying to relate it to a non.
The
what it
rabbit
is.
ears.
Sure. So, but the idea is that like theoretically, you're not really going to be having your hands back there to like mess it up. But if you do something like lean over or just like kind of like turn away from the transmitter, then like you might run into problems.
Do they have multiple transmitters?
Do they have multiple?
Multiple, yeah. I mean, imagine if you.
I think in this setup they did not, but it was hard to tell because they were like built into the wall. Like they had this giant like truss system set up because they were trying to be like super cool looking. But I mean, it wasn't bad. I'm still skeptical. That's all. And I saw a few like VR peripherals. Like fortunately this year they weren't like trying to do like the whole like oh you've got like this omni track thing and you're like running in place, because like that'll never be like consumer viable, just because like each individual needs a pair of shoes, and the whole thing's like really clumsy looking. But they had some other
I couldn't imagine
proposals.
selling that.
So like there was like this one controller that, I mean, it's pretty interesting. I don't know like how expensive it would be, but they use magnets so you can change the configuration. So it's like these like two things,
Oh,
and then you like stick
I
them
saw that
together
too.
on your like guns,
Yeah.
or you can like do this thing. I don't know why you want to do that, but you can. And
Steering wheel.
oh yeah, that's a good example. And they also have this like haptic system that could like kind of give you the feeling of tension. So like if you're pushing your arm out or something, like it can vibrate in a way that would like make it feel like it's imparting a force on your hand. So like either like resistance or pulling you in a certain direction or whatever. So that's kind of cool. I mean, I wonder how much they would cost.
Right.
Because they sound like really expensive.
They work for both Vive and Oculus, I think. I remember the guy telling me that.
Oh, yeah,
wow.
yeah.
They had a couple haptic vests /
Really?
other body coverings.
I saw one or two of those.
You know,
Yeah.
I've heard that like the
I
ones
didn't try.
they
I didn't
make,
wait in line to try it.
like I would want to try it, but like because I heard that like it's not just a gentle vibration. It's like it feels like you're getting punched.
Wow.
I heard
Oh, wow.
for some of the things like military grade, and, like
It like throws you back 4 feet.
Cough out blood.
lawsuit.
if you're willing to like experience that kind of trauma, it could be cool. Yeah. As long as the software developer is responsible and not just like, oh, here's getting punched 1,000 times.
It's like that scene in Matrix. Where
Yeah, I like the tagline. If you're into that type of trauma,
That type of trauma.
this game's for you. Oh man,
We'll be in our Ready Player One world soon enough, I guess.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go see
Just
that.
in time for
It's
the
coming
movie.
out this week, right?
Yeah, this Friday.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's all the articles have been about. It's like, are we in Ready Player One now? It's like, no, we're not. But-
Nope.
No.
Not quite.
Did you read the book? No. we're
No.
not.
Yeah, that's right. Are you just saying stuff?
You're
because
just
of
saying
what
stuff. Yeah, you're just saying stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if you mean a world where we're referencing things 100% of the time,
Yeah.
maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
We're near Columbus.
Yeah.
That's true. We are near Columbus.
Yeah, so actually, the folks in the game dev community in Columbus, they're doing this whole huge Ready Player One, thing. I know what studios out there, Multivarious, that they're doing, some big thing with it. So they're super excited about it. I mean, it's cool, but
Yeah.
I don't. Trying to relate it into, the reality is a little much for me. Yeah. So, see, Super Voodoo, I'd say realistic haptic feedback would be more immersive than more realistic VR. Can't wait for it. Yeah, I mean, like Mike said, if you're into that type of trauma, but let's make sure that, as Mike said, that they're responsible.
Yeah, and even with something like that, like there are still limitations. Like, we'll pretty much never be able to. Well, I don't want to say never, but right now it looks like we'll never be able to like have a feedback system where I can say place a virtual wall somewhere that a player can't physically walk through, right?
Right.
Like you can't,
okay.
you can't like.
Well, so we have, force field projectors like in the holodeck.
Well, yeah.
It's coming, man. It's coming. Mike, is it coming?
Did you see that at GDC?
We'll get there.
I did not see that.
I mean,
I'm joking.
There's a few things that are coming out though that have like feedback for hands, right? Like I don't know,
Yeah.
pneumatic tubes or something
Yeah.
where like you grab onto a thing and it like gives you some resistance so you can like.
The best one I've seen is so there's a couple of YouTube channels I watch. One is called Smarter Every Day.
Oh, yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
I
And
saw
then-
that one.
Yeah. Well, I guess it must have
I saw
been
it
centered
too.
around Shell.
Oh.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
he
how did
knows.
we all see it? But yeah, so it's like the long and the short of it was a haptic glove, but it also had strips of metal that ran along the tops of the fingers that could be, electromagneted down. So it's like it could freeze your finger in a position. So if I'm going to go grab a can of soda in VR, when my hand is around it, it freezes my hand, and it's like, oh, I'm like holding a can of soda, and so it's
wow.
I mean, obviously it's a still prototype glove, and there's
it was like a really
there's
cool
a huge giant glove with a big tube thing coming
Yeah,
out.
it's
But
like the mech suit from.
they're working on it.
Yeah.
They're working on it. It's gonna be awesome.
If it's sent around the city, I have to go through my email to see to find that.
Because if you had those on your arms and legs, then
You probably just look up Spider every day.
yeah,
Find it.
VR
Yeah.
glove.
Probably an off topic.
Yeah, probably.
Email chain.
Very cool.
That's super
Very
good.
cool.
And the cool part about that one is they put you could feel they had 108 sensors on the
Yeah,
bottom or something
sensors
like that.
and air bladders and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, so
but I really like the finger
You can
mobility.
feel like a spider crawling like it.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
But they were doing rain at first, and then they're like, "How do you like spiders?" We're throwing spiders at you now. And I don't know if I would.
Thought spiders
do
were
that,
okay, but
yeah.
now I don't know. No.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah. Yeah. I contemplated waiting in line for the Oculus Go, stuff, but the line was so long, and I was like, no, I'm good. It looks really cool, and I read Polygon's review of it, and it looked cool.
Yeah.
So.
The
But yeah,
standalone systems are getting better and better.
Mm-hmm.
they are. They are. Yeah.
Yeah. After trying a few things, it's feasible to think that the standalone setups could, well, first of all, replace the ones where you put your phone in, right?
Yeah.
Because even though phones come out more often than new standalone devices, they have way more limitations.
Yeah, and I don't want to use I want to use my phone as a phone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
I don't want its battery to
But
be
do you
drained.
think they could ever replace, PC rigs?
Yeah, I don't know. It's possible.
I feel like they could.
Laptops have
I think it'll,
largely
Yeah, it'll
can
happen.
largely replace PC
See-
rigs.
I mean, yeah, most people don't use desktops anymore.
I think it depends on what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
power users are always going to want power. So wherever they can get more, wherever they have more bandwidth, they have more
true.
more memory, they're going to get that, right? So if it's wired, or if it, I'll just get that.
But a standalone device is
But-
they give you a lot more freedom.
They
You
do.
can just go anywhere, kind
Yep.
of.
Yep.
I'm sure.
It's annoying playing with the wires. But
I'm sure you're going to see a standalone device with a pass-through camera coming up, and then everyone's going to make their AR, VR, MMOs and stuff. Yeah.
I didn't see too much AR there.
they're going to have to make AR lanes on the sidewalk.
Yes. That's right.
Well, they'll just make it with AR, so you'll see it only in AR. So the AR people will know where
That's not great. Though.
That's true. All the people not in AR will still bump
Would
into
still
them.
be
Good
like,
point. Good
what,
point.
what are you doing? Yeah.
You're in my AR lane, man.
we don't even have bike lanes everywhere yet, so
Yeah,
we got
first things first.
A ways to go.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Oh, speaking to your point about rhythm game. So I went to the Game Vibes party, the post GDC party down there. Actually
yeah.
walked from
Yeah.
4th Street to 10th Street. It was a really dumb idea. It was super far. And, I got to 7th Street. I was like, should I just Uber there?
Those
But-
are some long blocks.
yeah, I was like, oh, city blocks, they're
That's
fine. I
what
walk
it
New
is
York,
there.
it's fine.
Yeah.
No, San Francisco's a different animal. So I was,
Sketchy some areas too.
yeah, some areas I walked a little bit faster than others, because I was by myself. So I was like, maybe I'll jog this one out. But
I heard some ugly stories.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
yeah. But anyway, so at Game Vibes, they were playing, well, they had Cuphead, they had Soul Calibur, they had all types of games going on. But the coolest game that I thought, they had the Beat Saber. So it was, it was that VR, and it was really, really cool.
Have you tried it?
No, I just watched it, but because it was like from 6 to 10, and I didn't see them, wiping the headsets. I was like, not saying that they weren't.
So in my talk.
Yeah, not saying that they weren't. I just didn't see it.
I
So
That was one of the main reasons why at the expo, there's a lot of stuff that you could have tried, but I didn't want to because I didn't want to catch the GD plague, GDC plague from.
Yeah.
I didn't want to come home with pink eye.
That's how you tell experienced conference people versus non-experienced. because you go up to certain demos and they'll have like the hand sanitizer right there,
Mhm.
or they'll have the wipe. You'll see them wiping the controllers after people use them. It's like, this person has been at GDC before.
Yeah.
But at some extent, like, you know, a lot of these guys are like, we want to maximize our throughput.
Right.
Just put it on, take it off, put it on, and it's
Yeah.
like, oof, no thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was. And do you guys know who does it? Because I don't remember the studio who did it, but it was super
I
cool.
don't remember.
Yeah, and then yeah, the line was super long too. So you were there, Dyer. I probably saw you there. But that was a packed party though. It was a lot of fun.
They had it at the Google Play party too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. It was like, so if you guys went to any of the Unity, was it like Unity HQ or something, or
Mhm.
Unity,
They-
what is that place called? Unity Central?
The Unity Central, yeah.
Yeah. So they had like, in Unity Central, they had this area for talks, and then they had the food area, and then...
And that DJ game, or the music DJ game.
Oh, with the Electronauts.
Electronauts.
Yeah, by Servios. That was cool.
Oh, that was at the Unity party.
Oh. Wait, what are we talking about?
Unity Central. It was like one of the buildings, like
Oh.
on 3rd
You know, like
Street.
an office there.
And they had, yeah, they had like their own schedule where they had a bunch of talks there. And then,
No, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's
so I think they might have had like Beat Saber there like the entire time. But they had really good food there
Sabers.
at the party.
I know they definitely had a couple of games that weren't out yet available to
So
play.
Beat Saber's not out yet.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think Beat Saber is. Yeah,
No, website, so.
the website's up. Yeah.
I thought that was cool. Then the Servios booth at the expo was super cool. They had Electronauts and Creed and
Mhm.
they had
And Sprint Vector.
and Sprint Vector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a couple of Shell folks who love Sprint Vector.
Mhm.
Tyler's been streaming that pretty
Yeah.
regularly.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
It looks amazing. It also looks like it would make me really sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was.
It's not as bad as it looks.
But it might not be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
kind of
still
want to
high-
try it first.
You still need high VR tolerance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I-
yeah.
Yeah, and Tyler's just an animal in
I don't know if
Yes.
anyone has spent more hours in VR.
Yeah,
Those
he's
people
just
that I don't-
straight savage. That's awesome.
Tyler was telling me like when he's at like home, he just like straps on his VR headset and he has like the virtual desktop, so he doesn't need like to exist in real life.
I think one of the favorite things I've seen people do. I've seen lots of tweets. People will go into a game, whatever game they like to, whatever they feel like being in. They'll sit in it, and then they'll turn on virtual desktop and they'll load Photoshop and they'll paint while sitting in a game. They'll paint the game, right?
No
they'll,
way.
they'll sit
It's
down
cool.
and like
Yeah.
there's that one like cyberpunk air. It's like air car. Like you just drive around in a car in a cyberpunk city,
Mhm.
and there's nothing else to do. It's just atmospheric. You just drive
Okay.
around, and so they'll find some cool place with some nice visual, and they'll just plop down and bring over their Photoshop and start painting.
What is that called? Like
That's
when you,
hilarious.
in real life, it's like the plane air paintings, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except for, I guess it's
Yeah,
virtual air.
they'll sit down and like do VR and like and paint. And I'm just like, that's so it's crazy.
That is that's
it's
wild.
really cool. Yeah, it's really cool images. And at first it just looks like, yeah, okay. And then when you're like, wait a minute, what? Did you? Oh, what? You know, it's like 3 steps deep, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
Beautiful environments, in games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. And you get to kind of like be there. Like you're hearing all the ambient sound,
Right, right.
all that stuff. So
Huh.
it's pretty cool.
I mean, you could use Google Earth VR and like
Oh, yeah,
go
totally.
to
Yeah.
Paris or
Yep.
just paint.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, people are doing that.
That's really interesting though, because you have like you have the VR resolution, and then you have the
Real life
Photoshop-
resolution?
the Photoshop resolution.
Photoshop resolution, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
you can't see the pixels until you get closer. I don't know. Maybe that's better.
Yeah, maybe it's better. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's some limitation.
Interesting.
And are they using their like Wacom tablets or like?
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yep.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm sure there's videos. I'm sure someone has like captured themselves actually doing it. I've just seen screenshots though. But
I've definitely seen streamers who like paint inside Quill or in Tilt Brush and they
Mhm.
do that, but
Yeah.
I've never seen that level of
Being in the
inception.
game, just
It's hilarious.
all right.
Yep, we're gonna go to this game and chill, basically, right? You just
Yeah.
you go in some. I mean, in Doom, it's usually not as chill because it's Doom. All right, I'm gonna go to
Every once in a while you have to build
hell-infested
something so you
Earth
can, like-
and sit down and paint. Yeah.
They just need a paint mode for all VR games,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just pause it, open up Photoshop.
Yeah. Just, I just want to paint something here.
Just need to paint.
Chill out and Water Bears Beach Party.
See?
Yeah.
That's real relaxing.
There you go.
We need.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, do you want to tell us about not GDC?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
I definitely want to hear about that.
Yeah, jump on in, Mike.
Yeah.
You gotta come
Oh,
over
this
here.
is a good spot.
Oh, you're gonna switch?
Yeah, let's do it.
You can link it.
That's true. We have 3 of the 8 mics here. Well, we're about to lose one.
But yeah, sorry.
No, we
About to
can't,
lose
we
my-
can't have more than.
Yeah, that's
Can't have more than 2 mics on screen.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks,
Mike.
Mike.
See you later.
Yeah, that's right. Then the feed will just stop. Yeah.
Over
Time
mic.
stops.
Yeah, the time stops.
It's like that infinite picture-in-picture thing
Right.
starts happening.
Yep.
Mics.
Exception.
Exactly.
All right, cool. So, not
Yeah,
GDC.
So not GDC. So Greg, who also works here, you all know Greg, V, set up a not GDC, we're not a GDC game jam, and invited me to co-host it, presumably because I talk so much. That it was a good way to get people to sign up.
It does talk a lot.
I do. So we started doing that, and we got hooked up with the folks doing the not GDC unconference hashtag on Twitter, and that's really it. We wanted to make something for folks to like not have the fear of missing out that that I certainly experienced every year. As I've only been to GDC once because it's really expensive, and it worked. It cured the FOMO. We got 28 games were submitted to the Game Jam. They're really cool. Everyone should check it out. I will go over to my station and post a link soon. Jacob Triffenoff says it was awesome. He was right. I think he was one of the jammers.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was great. Lots of great talks. People just wanted to share stuff that they wouldn't be able to. You know, a lot of people can't go to GDC, right?
Mhm.
It's expensive. It's in the United States, which isn't easy for everyone in the world,
Yeah.
obviously. So
It's not even easy
it
for
was-
us.
Right,
Yes.
it's not even
Yeah.
easy for us, and we're just going across the country. Like,
Yep.
you know, imagine if you're coming from Brazil or China. Like,
Yep.
it's probably not going to happen. So this way, people can share their knowledge about the game dev world in a way that doesn't cost them money, and there's more knowledge floating out there, and there's inclusion, and it was all good. It was really great.
Share their knowledge about bees.
Yeah, definitely. I'll post a link to the B video. Is
I enjoyed that video.
the B video is so good.
So good.
And in fact,
Live
it inspired us
action
to add a positive representation of bees as one of the themes for the game jam. So there's a bunch
Nice.
of bee themed games. in the
Nice.
jam, too.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah, it was super fun, and I plan on doing it next year, unless I go to GDC, but probably won't.
Well, very cool. So, what were? Can you go through like some of the games that did it before you post the link?
Boy, well, there's 28 of them, so there's a lot.
Talk about your pigeon game.
I played these some.
Look,
My
yeah,
pigeon
Dan can
game.
help you out. Yeah.
Sure. Well, go ahead, Dan. Do you have any
Oh,
favorites?
one I really enjoyed was a loot box visual novel.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah. Where you play as a loot box, and you know, maybe you're not as good as all the loot boxes, but I don't want to give away the story, but it's,
Wow.
it's really good. It's
Yeah,
really good.
it's short and it's totally worth playing. So
Yeah.
so check the link. It's
All
fun.
Okay.
Cool.
And then, and then Sean said something about you did a pigeon game.
Yeah, pigeon was one of the themes. So I did a game where you were a space pigeon flying around, finding your pigeon eggs and having pigeon friends. And really, I was pushing myself to do something that was cute and not violent, because everything I have done on my own is an arcadey shooting game, because that's what I like playing. But so this was a stretch for me to do something that was open-ended and had hearts and rainbows and it was cute. And I hope it was cute. I was going for cute and not aggressive. So
Meow's is cute until you play.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I like flying in space.
cool.
Just the stars around you.
I thought it was. I mean, I thought it came out okay. I was pretty
Yeah,
happy
you
with
can
it.
chill out. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
And the different communities.
Yeah,
Nice too.
someone did one that was about fishing for cloud Fisher, I think it was called, and it's amazing what this guy accomplished in a week. I believe it was Game Maker, and he just cranked out like. I'm sure he wants to do a lot more, but it looked like a full. It looked like a full game to me. Like it was really, really impressive.
Cool. Oh,
Yeah, I like the jam stuff in there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
So, Super Voodoo had a question, seen anyone stream VR well? One of the challenges I've had watching is the camera work on the gamer's body. Doesn't always look great, but still want to see the game and player at the same time. So, have you guys seen anybody stream VR well?
You gotta have like a whole green screen set up.
Yeah, I've seen some.
Even still,
like big. I've seen some companies do that where they have like a room,
Mhm.
you know, and they're doing that. They have a green screen and they have all of it, so you can see both, right? It's really you're watching two things.
Yeah.
I've seen
to
some,
clarify though, for the green
Yeah.
screen, there are some games, very few right now, that support what's called a mixed reality setup.
Mhm.
So the idea is that it's not just a green screen in a sense that, you know, the player portrait is kind of projected in the lower left corner of the screen, and then you see the game, right? Because like a lot of streamers do that. It's actually the idea that the player can kind of project themselves inside the game as they're playing it. And so the way that works is that the game itself has a special function that's built in that renders out, you know, 4 layers that the person will composite in OBS. So there'll be a background, there'll be the webcam layer with the green screen subtracted out. Then there'll be a foreground so that you can have like a VR object that is like in front of the person.
okay. Yeah.
In case like they're holding onto like a sword and shield or whatever. And then foreground alpha, which is an alpha mask that you multiply against the foreground. And so the games that actually support this feature, I can only really think of Fantastic Contraption. I know there's.
Yes, I've definitely seen that.
I mean, I know some like Job Simulator does it, but I don't know if they have a mode for it. I think it's only for their trailers.
They also do like where you can. This is going to be my streaming camera, so it's a virtual camera, and you can put it somewhere, and it's looking at the avatar of the player. So like.
Oh, which games have that? That's cool.
Well, both JobSim and Fantastic Contraption had that.
Oh, okay.
And there was actually a talk about how even mixed reality trailers, like it's nice to be able to have a way to show the avatar in the world, and have that available for streamers, right? Because now the streamer can put the camera wherever they want. They can preview what the camera sees, but then they're playing first person. The camera's looking at their avatar third person. And it gives a very good, you know, without all the camera movement of the head, right?
Yeah, that's cool. I've done some experiments myself with, for instance, like, you know, the golf game on sport, right? So I made a mixed reality setup in my house, and I was trying to like, just make like developer blog type things, videos, and it's a real pain to set up. Let me tell you, like, even though I'm like the one writing the code and putting it in the game, like every time I would record a video, like my virtual camera and the physical camera would get like decalibrated, because like what you have to do is you set up like your webcam, and then you also have to put like a controller or something in the same spot and be like, okay, they're projecting from the same position, they're looking in the same direction, they have the same FOV, which is a really tricky one, because like all the camera manufacturers lie about the FOV. It's never correct, and like, oh my gosh, it just takes forever.
Yeah.
So that answer the question, not really?
Yeah, I guess
It's hard.
It's hard. It's just it's hard.
Yeah.
Some people do
I've
it.
heard about some tech where people are starting to use cameras with depth buffers. So if you like record someone, you not only know like, oh, at this pixel, what's the color, but you also know how far away from the camera that pixel is. And that's important because like if you kind of integrate it in your game, you can actually have the game lighting affecting the camera, right? And so that's like super cool.
That'd be cool, yeah.
That's like the next cutting edge tech.
That'd be really cool.
Oh, at GDC, did you guys see at the Expo there was like some Microsoft thing where they were showing how someone got like the webcam feed to like shunt it right into Unity.
Oh wow.
So like all the
No,
compositing and stuff, it
Mhm.
just happens like in editor.
Jeez.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, no.
And I'm gonna try and get.
Yeah.
I was like, see, I went up to them. I was like, give me.
Give me that. Give me one.
I want one.
I want one.
No, I saw Microsoft's booth, but I didn't go by it. Yeah, I just Facebook was right there, and then Oculus, and then everything that Epic was doing. I was like, I'm just gonna go. Now, if Facebook had a mechanical pinata, then maybe.
Yeah, they didn't have that.
No, they didn't have it. You missed out.
Hard to beat.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a draw.
It's
The crazy thing is they didn't used to build those like 2-story buildings like Oculus and some of the bigger ones had like
It's so
2
crazy.
floors.
It's like not accessible.
It's so
But it's so
ridiculous.
crazy.
Yeah, the Expo Floor is out of control.
It was out of control.
I mean, it reminded me of Comic-Con.
Did it?
Yeah,
Oh,
except
they do
San Diego Comic-Con is like that, except multiply that Expo Floor by like 5.
Wow.
Wow.
That's what like the Expo Floor is like at Comic-Con.
Okay, I guess it's similar to PAX because PAX is freaking
It's
monstrous.
just a
Yeah,
giant,
we went
it's
there, it
crazy.
was
Like, and they have booths like that.
90,000?
I went there in
Yeah,
2010,
yeah.
and they had booths like that. They were like G4 was still alive. Remember G4?
Oh,
Yeah, G4 was like up, Olivia Munn and like Kevin, I forget the Kevin's name.
Pereira.
Kevin Pereira.
Oh,
They were like
G4.
up, like 3,
No
2
way.
stories up on the top, broadcasting and like throwing t-shirts and stuff. Yeah, they had
That's
it.
I'm watching those.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Good old tech TV.
Good old tech TV.
So,
Attack of the Show.
Super Voodoo asks, or he says, if the webcam had technology like the Kinect, it would better detect your body.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Possibly.
The Kinect is hard to use. I mean, the Kinect has like point cloud projection tech, and that's where they kind of generate their skeletons from. But the Kinect itself, the cameras on there aren't really.
High fidelity.
Yeah, you couldn't really use like the video feed from the cameras, right? So yeah, that would be like another layer you're adding. I mean, it would be really cool. That's why like the cameras with the depth buffer essentially kind of do the same thing that the Kinect would want you to do. And I don't know how those work. I guess it's just like 2 cameras in parallel, and then you can like kind of see how far away things are. Well, no, it does something else. It must have like an infrared component.
With the Kinect?
The depth buffer camera.
Hmm.
Because like,
I'm not sure.
Well, Kinect has a depth camera. Are you talking about what are they called? Like the full light something?
I don't know what it's called.
Yes.
Light something.
They're not like really. You can't like buy.
It's basically
you can't just
taking a
buy
picture
one.
at every focal depth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it splits it up into like Z layers, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
This is complicated.
Yeah.
Oh, man, what are they called?
I'm not sure.
Lightform? I feel like Lightform is the
clue.
brand name of it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
cool.
Anyway, future cameras.
Future. So, let's see, what do we got next? So, I guess switching gears a little bit, Easter weekend's approaching us, and Pittsburgh does, Easter weekend like super big. I forgot like how big
Do they?
Easter is in Pittsburgh. Like compared to other cities, like it's like a big deal. Yeah.
True.
My family's all from New Jersey, so I'm heading east. So
You're heading
I'm
east?
never here for Easter. So I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. Yeah, it's my
don't pay attention.
second
I have no clue what happens.
second weekend of here, being back in Pittsburgh. So like whenever you do family gatherings, like do you guys like play games? Do you guys show them what you can, what you're working on, or other games that you guys have discovered? Like what's the typical family gathering? Not necessarily Easter, but in any any
Problems.
extended family gathering. What do you guys do?
You
So
guys play
I-
a lot of board games.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I always get together with my cousins, and like, most of my cousins are older than me, and they were really into board games when I was young, and that's how I got into games because of them. I would play with them. I'm an only child, so like they're like my siblings, and like, I mean, they were huge board game nerds, right? Like, my one cousin met his wife at the Origins Lord of the Rings card game tournament.
Wow.
Nice.
And
No way.
they played against each other in like the quarterfinals or something like that, and it was just like they're like playing, and then it was like, I love you. And that was it. Like,
Wow, there it is.
It's amazing.
And
Oh,
they
that's-
had the
that's
ring
cool.
right there. So they,
We have to one ring to put us together. Yeah, cool.
Nice.
And so what's your favorite, what board game did you do growing up? Or board games?
Well, let's see. Obviously, like Settlers, but we also played a lot at like Hero Quest.
Okay.
Hero
I
Quest, that's a
remember
great
I
board
loved,
game.
I loved Hero Quest.
I've
yeah.
done some quests in Hero Quest.
Okay.
That one's the most notable to me. That was my favorite.
That's a
one.
great game. Solid game.
Cool. What about you, Sean?
I always bring a selection of games that we try. I don't know. Did I show this at the last dinner with the devs?
I'm not sure.
Did I show this little guy?
Yes.
Okay.
But you can do it again.
I'm gonna do it again. These games are so great. I brought a bunch of them to GDC, so I always had like 4 board games with me, and I must have played this game Gem like at like 3 different parties, and we just like busted out on a cocktail table.
Oh, nice.
And gosh, they're so useful. But yeah, no, let's see, what other games? I bought, actually, it's funny, so GDC was Monday through Friday. I stayed the following Saturday just to sort of hang out and see some friends and stuff. And we ended up going to Gator Games, south near San Mateo. And they were having, so we roll in with like all our luggage for the planes. And they are giving demos of Star Wars Legions, which is like a war game set in the Star Wars universe. And the demo they had set up had Luke Skywalker and some Rebel Alliance versus Darth Vader and some Stormtroopers. Okay. And so we like sat down and like the shop, the guy from the shop who was giving the demo like sort of ran us through a battle, and it was just fun. And then I ended up buying the game Codenames, if you know that game.
Yeah, it's great.
Because I've been meaning to buy that, and
Default.
but then of course I had to carry it back on the plane, so I ended up with all this nonsense trying to fit it in my carry-on luggage. But
There's
it's all
another
good.
game our family would play a lot. It's called Shadow Hunters, and it's just like it's a game that's kind of like, it's about hidden identities, and there's teams and stuff. So like, you know, you go to like locations and you get items, and you can like try and kill the other players, but you don't know exactly like who they are. So you have to like use like powers to figure out their identity. So because there's the shadows and there's the hunters.
Shadow Hunter.
And then there's neutrals, right? And the neutrals have like weird wind conditions and stuff. But anyway, like, so we used to play this game a lot, and one of the like close family friends of my cousins who was in our play group, he was getting married, and another guy, my cousin's wife, she's an architect, and she does a lot of like physical construction of prototypes. So she had like access to like all the high quality cardboards and stuff that you would see in board games. So we remade the game, but like in a wedding edition. Like it was about like him and his fiance, and like we replaced all the characters with us.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's intense.
As a wedding gift. Or something.
Yeah. From all
awesome.
of us.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is cool.
Great gift.
Yeah. What about you, Kwame?
I don't do anything for Easter.
Yeah. So what about just getting together with family? What do you guys play?
Oh, we play video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't play board games as much. I'm probably the board game person of my family, so I bring the board games to them, kind of.
Yeah.
But we usually play video games more.
Okay.
Lately, I think the last game, I mean, I had to like teach them Munchkin, like, 'cause they'd never play, you know what I mean? So like it was, that Munchkin is usually like some of the, it's kind of basic, and like a bunch of games are based kind of off of Munchkin's kind of dungeon crawly type gameplay. So we play that. They have a couple of trivia games that they like to play sometimes. Usually I'm playing games with the kids. And they're usually playing Terraria or something like that, so I'm running around playing games with them. I play that all the time with my daughter too. Yeah, Terraria is pretty awesome. We play that a lot. Let's see, me and my brothers play Rocket League. My middle brother still plays For Honor a lot, so we play that a bit. We just trade off.
Yeah.
And I mean, he gets loud. He's intense. We're all loud. We're all very loud when we get together. All three of us get together. I have 2 brothers. All 3 of us get together, and our volume goes up by like 35%. All 3 of us.
Yeah.
So it gets intense. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it, though. I mean, we just play whatever. We play whatever games are available at the time, or we usually try to find something that sounds good and play that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Dear?
I don't know. I guess like my family's out of the country, and I guess I attend like a church service, and then yeah, I guess I don't actually have any plans this Sunday, but in general, I know in terms of like board games stuff, like Codenames is usually a pretty good default. Let's see what else. There was a game called Spyfall.
Spyfall.
Yeah, where I think the game kind of falls apart when people get too good at it. But basically, what it is everyone knows where. So everyone is supposedly at a place, and you know where like you get a card or something, and you know where it is, but one person doesn't know, and then you have to go around and trying to be as generally. You can't be too vague, but you can't be too specific, describing like where you are, and the spy has to try and figure out where everyone is, or try to pretend that they know what they're talking about. So I played a couple games with my friends. Yeah, back in New Jersey. I was from New Jersey.
Yeah, I also know that like half the studio.
It's from Jersey, I know.
Yeah,
but then like
I'm from Jersey too.
You get
Are you
people,
really? You're from Jersey?
South
I'm not from Jersey.
Okay. And you're from here.
I'm from here.
Okay.
Yeah, you get people where like they think they're being extremely clever, but then the spy like figures out like instantly, but they don't reveal until the end, and it's like, yeah, you guys are fools. I figured it out. I figured out like the first question when it's like, oh, do you want some service? And it's like, yeah, of course, the gas station. Like, what else would it be?
So there's another version of that game that I like a lot better, because like Spyfall gives me anxiety because I don't have all the locations memorized. So like if you have to look at that card, it's like, oh, clearly you're the spy because you're the one who like needs to like know what the options are for the locations.
Oh yeah.
But there's another version of the game. It's much more simple. It's called something like A Fake Artist Goes to New York City, and so everyone's given a card and it tells you something to draw. And then one person who's the spy, or the fake artist, doesn't know what to draw. So everyone takes turns drawing one line.
That's
on
awesome.
the same
Oh yeah, I
on
played
the
that
same
too.
picture.
That was pretty fun.
So
I've heard of it.
I've never
It
played
ends
that.
up
That
looking like a
sounds-
children's show.
so if
Yeah,
your
I've
line
played
is
that.
too good, then the spy will be like, oh, that's a duck,
And they'll know what to draw.
Yeah, or they'll just like, they'll win because they'll say we're drawing. This is what we're drawing, right?
I'm actually really bad at that game because
Yeah, it's great.
because I will recognize stuff instantly. So when I draw, I try to make it as unclear as possible, which then no one will ever get. And then they're like, "You're the spy," or whatever. You're the
Fake artist.
Fake
Yeah.
artist, and it's like no, because it's too obvious if I draw this way.
See, I play with
fun.
a lot of people
Wow, that
who are
sounds really
super
fun.
bad at art.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know if you're lying or if you're just bad. Like,
Yeah, I'm super bad at art. I would be okay at that game.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Hey, so what's the name of the game again?
I think it's called like
Yeah, I think you're
Fake
right.
Artist Goes to New York City. I think
Fake
that's what it's
Artist
called.
Goes New York. Okay.
That's funny.
What part of Virginia are you from? I don't know Virginia very well, but it's fun to know. I hung out at Virginia Tech a lot whenever I went to school, so I know Blacksburg pretty well, but that's really about it. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Mike, what about you? You guys with your family play games?
A little bit. My kids are young. My oldest daughter is getting pretty into board games. Lately, she has been she likes card games a lot. She's been playing a lot of Machi Koro, which is really fun. And she likes Exploding Kittens.
Yeah, that's
My daughter likes that too.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
a
fun
fun
game. What else? She got Mr. Toast. Everybody knows Mr. Toast?
No.
It's a card game.
I
It's
don't even
fun.
know
It's a-
Machikara.
it's a good- You would love Machikoro. That's
What is
That's a
Machikara?
Sean game right there.
Really?
It's a city building and planning game, all done with cards and
You think
trading
that's
for
what I like?
resources. That's
You're
what
kind
you
of
do.
right, yeah.
I think that's what I like. You think that's what I like?
You love cities, Sean. You're from Jersey.
I love
Yeah.
cities.
You're
What?
from Jersey.
Really?
It's the city-state, right? The land of cities.
It's just
People
one
from Jersey
continuous
love
suburb.
buildings.
Is it just suburbs?
It's basically a
Yeah,
suburb
you're
from
from
New
Jersey,
York
like
to Philly.
buildings, right?
It's really, that's really what
You
New
can
Jersey
see buildings in
is.
the distance.
I don't know. I think you'd like it. Everybody would like
All
it.
the
It's fun.
cities are in other states.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played some Exploding Kittens. I like it. It's nerve wracking.
It
like,
is.
Like my heart beats fast whenever I play that game.
It's
Because you just don't know.
it is rough playing Exploding Kittens with little children because it is such a screw over your friend's game.
Yes.
And like it always ends in tears. Always.
Does it really?
Always. Like just, someone cries every time we play Exploding Kittens and most games, but like that game for sure ends in tears.
That sounds
we just keep going for it.
All the pictures are really cute on the cards.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, and you really can't play Exploding Kittens in a gentle way. Like,
No.
I mean, they're exploding. Right?
you can lose on purpose, or
Right.
you can deliberately kill other people. Like, it's just how it works. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, tears. The only game that we can ever play that doesn't end in tears is Hoot Owl Hoot. If you have little kids, check out Hoot Owl Hoot.
Hoot Owl.
Hoot Owl Hoot.
Hoot owl.
Yeah, it is a cooperative players against the board game
Oh.
that you can tune the difficulty
Mm.
pretty readily. So you can make it kind of challenging to very, very easy. So like really little kids can play and still kind of usually beat the board.
Well, if you know games that are like for super young,
Yeah.
like super young, that'd be great.
Cool.
Yeah, because we're expecting it in May, so I'd like to play some games. I can't play with a newborn.
Newborns like sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only game you want to play with them.
Food.
Yeah.
You're
Food
gonna,
game.
and you're
Yeah.
gonna like sleep, but you're not gonna get it.
Yeah, maybe my wife and I will play a game like how much sleep the
How
other
much-
person
yeah,
will
right,
get. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, the sleep game. Hoot Owl Hoot is like it could easily be a first game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fun.
Let me get this Hoot Owl Hoot game.
Yeah, you should check it out.
It better be good, Mike.
It's great. It's the kind of game you'd like, Sean.
Jersey. You're from Jersey.
from Jersey. Hoot Owl Hoot. Yeah, we have owls there.
There's owls in Jersey.
That's the state bird.
That's
Yeah.
state bird, yeah.
It's the state game.
Sure, yeah.
Is it?
Goldfinch.
Oh, snap.
What is it?
The goldfinch.
The goldfinch.
Dang.
I don't know.
I bet you the
Good
rough
on you,
grouse will
Dan.
take the
Yeah, good on you.
goldfinch
The
and
PA's the
Anytime.
rough
I could
grouse.
catch it.
Rough grouse,
yeah. Check it
In
out.
South Jersey, it's Canadian goose. We hate those things. They're everywhere.
Canadian
They're
goose.
protected by law. Can you believe that?
Are they really?
Yeah, it's garbage.
Like by state law or by
I mean, I think they were like at one point endangered.
Goose law.
Yeah.
goose law?
You mess with one goose, you mess with them all.
That's true.
That's yeah.
Untitled Goose Game. That's a great game that I
So that was the title? Okay,
Yeah,
'cause
well,
I saw that.
I don't think it's
Untitled
I think
Goose
it's
Game.
currently
Untitled Goose
untitled,
Game.
or it's just called right now. It's just called
Goose.
Untitled Goose.
Untitled.
But there's a lot of bird-themed games now. You know, there's
Yeah,
like duck
it's
game.
great. Yeah, it's amazing.
Untitled
I don't
Goose
know.
What's the name of that game? That's
Charming.
it's the visual novel. That's you get to date pigeons or birds.
Was it like
What?
something Haddo Pigeon?
Yeah.
How to Fool Boyfriend. That's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
How to
Yep.
what?
How to fool boyfriend. Yep.
It's about pigeons. You can date
You
pigeons.
get, it's a
What's the
it's
first
a whole
word?
bunch of
Hatful?
how to fool.
It's like
Oh, how to.
it's like
fool.
ATTOFUL.
FUL?
It's like
Haddo-
I'm just telling you.
it's like a little Japanese
called.
sounding.
Yeah.
Alright.
How to Fool Boyfriend.
I'll check
All
it out.
right.
They have all sorts of fancy birds.
Look it up.
Birds with like monocles, top hats.
All the
People
time.
love it?
all
Yeah,
the
people
time.
love it,
All the
yeah.
time
Played it,
pigeons,
but
people
it's-
love it.
People love it.
Well, I heard of a couple more games that people told me that I would like at a GDC. Well, one, people told me the art of, and I just heard more and more about this. The art in Sea of Thieves is beautiful.
Oh God, man, I want to play that. Yeah, it is. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous game. Some people are worried about the depth of the game itself right now.
Mhm.
They feel like it's a little shallow. But
That's what I've heard.
If
Pun
you,
intended.
if you have,
Oh.
hey, the sea is shallow. No, but it seems like one. You got to play with people. You got to play with other people, right? If you
Mhm.
can't play that game you can play by yourself, but it wouldn't seem nearly as fun. Like all the videos I've watched where people are having like really good fun, they're playing with their other people that they're actually on comms with, because steering the ship and getting their ship to do what they want and manning the loading cannons and fixing the ship and like setting the sails and all that stuff is stuff you do. So like if
Yeah.
you do that with your friends, it's much more fun. But some of the stories that people have told, man, they're amazing stories of them like trying to get treasure
Yeah.
and having to decode, what the code is and figure out where the treasure is on the island, and then another ship comes up of people who are tracking the same one, and they can steal each other's treasure, and you can try to like take their stuff and put it on their boat, and then you chase them away and you sink their boat. Like there's a lot of good stuff like that when you sink their boat, or when the treasure will float back up to the top. You can to the top of the ocean, you can swim and take it. Like there's a bunch of great, piratey stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that stuff sounds amazing. Besides it being beautiful, I mean, the water is gorgeous.
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous.
That's all I remember about it. I was like, oh,
yeah,
the water looks really
the water
good.
is amazing. Yeah. So like, I definitely, it seems really, really fun. Like just watching streams of it is really exciting, and I would love to play. But.
Do you guys remember the Schell Games Artemis thing?
Yeah, we did that for.
That was when we first got our iPads. And
Throwdown Thursday.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened?
So this was at the old office, and we were working on Lexica, and we all got iPads. And we had this thing where after work, we took up all the conference rooms, and we played Artemis. And Artemis is like a game that's kind of like, it was kind of like an iPad version of Star Trek Bridge Crew back in the day.
Yes, it's a space bridge simulator.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like each person with their iPad would have a role on the ship, and let's say like I was a science officer, I could see like the radar, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would have to like tell people, oh, these are the things that I'm seeing, right? So each person like could see like one piece of the overall puzzle, and then there was a captain who had like we would use like the TV in the conference room as our view screen. And so each conference room was like 5 or 6 people, and we were all like basically fighting against each other.
That's cool.
And you would hear like
it was really cool. That was a really cool event. Yeah, that was cool.
I did not remember that.
My captain was Stephen Berrigan. He was great.
Yeah, he's gonna act it up.
Super into it.
Yeah, he's gonna act. Yeah,
That's funny.
that's Steven. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, we used to do a thing called Throwdown Thursday that I set up. It was basically just we played a game as a group every Thursday or every other Thursday or once a month. I don't remember what it was, but something like that. Yeah, and then we kind of like planned for it. So like, we would try to make it whatever we could, the biggest thing we could. TF2, Artemis,
the ship.
The ship. Oh man,
I
I forgot about the ship. Yeah, that was interesting. I think we played Soul Calibur.
Oh, cool.
We played Smash Brothers. We played all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, and then people started like having children and stuff, and then they couldn't stay anymore.
Yeah, I had a kid the whole time.
Yeah, see, that didn't stop you.
It didn't stop coming.
Yeah, that's all right. All right,
But that does stop people frequently.
Yeah,
No,
that's okay.
Nothing against that. Yeah, no, I mean,
Right.
yeah, family first.
another game people told me about was a Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Yeah. So this is a board game.
Board game. Yeah.
And it's kind of semi-cooperative until someone's soul gets possessed
That is a
by
good
like
game.
some latent demon and then turns against the group.
Okay.
Have you guys ever played the D&D version? It's really good.
No. Wait. What do you mean?
So there's a D&D theme, like retheming.
It's a
of the board game.
rethemed board game that's a D&D. Oh, okay.
It's same
Interesting.
thing as Betrayal, but
Right.
it's D&D.
Mhm.
And the characters, they have powers
Mhm.
in addition to being themselves and different
Gotcha.
stats. And the scenarios are all different.
Mhm.
And the scenarios happen to be a lot more well-balanced, right? Because
Oh,
when
good.
the game first came out, a lot of the scenarios would be like either really easy for, most of the time it'd be really easy for the players to just like win.
Mhm.
And a lot of the scenarios are like very confrontational. So it's like one person against everyone else.
Yeah.
Whereas like the D&D version has like multiple win conditions where like you can like save the player that was possessed or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And then
Mhm.
and then you're working together again.
Right.
It's a more satisfactory ending.
Gotcha.
So
Interesting.
I mean if you're really competitive.
Right, because I know some people don't like being the person who has to fight the rest of the group.
Yeah,
And some people
especially-
don't like that,
Mhm.
and then some people,
It's a betrayal.
huh?
It's a betrayal.
Right. Some
Yeah.
people just don't like doing that.
Well, it's also awkward
Not
because it's
comfortable.
like, okay, you're the guy. Here's a booklet. You go to another room.
Mhm.
We're gonna read this thing, and we're gonna work together as a group
Right.
on how to beat you, and then you're by yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not a great party game.
Yeah.
And Voodoo says, problem with Betrayal is how the game grinds to a halt once the haunt is revealed.
Yes.
So that's
what you were just talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well then that was a bad recommendation. So
No, it's a great
It's
game.
good.
It is a good
really
game?
You just have to be,
Just gotta
ready.
be in it.
ready. You just got to know those things, right?
Okay.
Be ready for those situations.
And then the last one I think was another board game, Unstable Unicorns. Anybody hear
I
that?
don't know this one.
Nope.
Don't know.
All right. If anybody out there has heard of Unstable Unicorns, please, yeah, tell us about it, because I wrote no summary. So
You just wrote down
I just wrote down the name of the
2
game.
words.
Yeah, no, literally, it just has games to look at. Sea of Thieves,
There you
Betrayed
go.
a House on the Hill, Unstable Unicorns.
I'll
Sounds
add-
like an interesting premise.
Yeah. I'm still using it. I'll add Baba Is You, or Baba Is.
Oh, we're gonna talk about IGF games.
Well, not is that an I mean I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it won awards, but
It
it's
won
also
the- it won the
like
student
it's
and-
also out as a
But
game like
what is-
It's
what-
it's a prototype. It's like 10 levels.
Oh really?
But
What is it
it's
called?
Baba Is You, like like a sheep makes Baba.
Baba Is You.
Baba
Yeah.
Is You.
Okay.
It's,
But it was also shown during the experimental gameplay workshop,
yeah. It's
which is
it's a
crazy. It's
programming
like
game.
a game that's an experimental gameplay workshop and the IGF, and I thought it was available. Maybe it's only a demo.
No, I mean yeah, it is available, but it's a demo or a
Yeah.
prototype. Yeah, but it's very good.
Yeah, it looked really good. It's like it's a puzzle game where you can change the rules to the game by pushing the blocks around and spelling out different sort of 3.
Yeah, I think this was also I wasn't there, but Everything Is Going to Be Okay. It's also another game. I thought
Okay.
was very good. It's set up more.
What is that game?
I feel like I've seen
So
that
it's more like a like a zine, like
That's
do you know like how
Didn't
zines
play
work
that.
and how like you get like a booklet and it's more like scenarios.
Not really.
So that game is
You pay money for it.
I guess it's a game about life and it's just like sort of dark humorous situations. You open up each application on like this fake desktop,
Yeah.
and it just brings you through like this funny, humorous, well, usually dark situation. It's just a scenario about life.
Huh.
Wait, and what was the name of it again?
Everything is going to be
alright.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah,
it's a little hard to describe, but I think the game is pretty good.
Hmm.
It's
Okay.
very interesting. I think it definitely. I think it's like a different genre, almost like a new genre. I think that's why it's so hard to describe.
Yeah,
But
I didn't really. I mean, I saw it referenced a lot, and it was up for awards. I just didn't understand it at all. I guess I'll have to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play it.
Okay, so we have a couple more. So we didn't play test this, and it's like 100 blank white cards.
I played that game once.
Oh,
And that's it.
That was it.
we didn't play test this game. It's a card game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it. I have yet to play it. I think I got it from Schell Games' Winter Krampus Extravaganza.
Oh, really?
And I've yet to actually play it.
Well, bring it in so we can play.
I'll have to bring it in.
Yeah. And then snake oil.
I don't know that one.
Me neither.
Don't know it. Okay, so we have a couple games that we haven't
haven't
heard
played new
of.
games in a hot minute. You know.
You what?
I haven't really played too many new games, board games that is.
In a hot minute.
How about a cold minute?
Cold minute.
You guys
Less-
gonna make fun
less
of
than
my
cold.
New Jersey speak?
Is that what that is?
New Jersey people?
I don't remember.
I don't
that.
say that.
We say that.
Hey, I'm from South Jersey.
I've heard it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I've heard
I'll make fun of
I've
South
heard
Jersey.
Yeah, I've heard hot minute.
Hot Minute's Pittsburgh verified.
Yeah.
Wow.
If we had like a black and gold stamp of approval.
That's
I remember when
Yin's
Mike-
gold.
I remember when I was talking to Mike T about the Pittsburgh left.
Oh
And
yeah.
he was like, "What do you mean?" And I described it to you, and you're like, "That's just how you make a left turn." And I was like, "No, Mike, that is against the law,
That's not how
and you
you
will
make a
get
left
hit
turn."
anywhere else." And
And
he's
I-
like, "What?
And I learned that firsthand in Jersey.
Did you get hit?"
No, I'm very, very close.
I've
So-
seen people get hit here.
So good story about
I
that.
mean,
So there
usually
was
it's called a courtesy left, right?
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
courtesy.
courtesy
No,
law.
it's
Except in Pittsburgh.
It's in
you just
Wikipedia as
take it.
Pittsburgh left. That's all I know.
Because
It's on
you take it
Wikipedia.
as fast as you can. So the point
Yeah, it's
of
not
That's what
very
we said in
courteous.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
The point of the point
Yeah.
is
So,
don't do that anywhere else.
as you guys may know, that Uber is here, and Pittsburgh is still one of the few cities doing this self-driving stuff. Since Arizona, their governor blocked it because of some accident.
Wait, you're going to say that the self-driving cars are all making Pittsburgh lefts?
So they had to learn learn that the Pittsburgh left is an actual thing.
Oh,
and
that's amazing.
yeah, and so they had to they went to their testing site to make sure to make sure that the cars in Pittsburgh wouldn't get sideswiped.
Wow.
So we have a special guest
AI,
here.
but it needs to know.
Yeah, AI needs to know everything.
It needs to know about the Pittsburgh left.
We got a guest here today, our CEO Jesse Schell.
Hi.
Came to hang
What's up,
out with
Jesse?
us.
Hello.
So we were just talking about, well, first we started talking about GDC, and then just some games that we've heard of, the play, and you walked in about Uber learning the Pittsburgh left.
I thought the Pittsburgh Left was a political organization.
Nope.
I went to 3 meetings before I figured it out.
Are you part of the Pittsburgh left? I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, oh, okay, it's not a thing. Got it. Yeah, neither am I.
We all set up folding chairs in the street.
You guys ever hear
Well,
of the Oakland Bump? That's like I had a friend in college who I went to Pitt, and he would always be like, "Oh, blah blah blah, Oakland Bump." Oakland Bump is like when you're parking your car and you just hit someone.
You just, to try to park.
And he's like,
yeah.
"Oh, no big deal. It's Oakland
That,
Bump."
I've heard of that.
I'm like,
I've done it in Oakland.
There you go.
There you go.
That's what bumpers are for. That's what my dad always said.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
that's what they're called. Yeah, the Pittsburgh, the parking share, that's a real thing. I've seen fights whenever people would move a chair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying. So you guys are from Pittsburgh. I've been trying to ask Pittsburghers about using entrance ramps on the highway because people don't like using it here.
Well,
Yeah, they're scared.
They don't like using
They
it.
come to a
They don't.
stop
They
line.
stop
Yeah.
when they have the whole lane ahead of
Well,
them.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
some of them have stop signs.
No, that's
Some-
fine.
some do.
Okay,
Everyone stops at those.
I mean,
then.
they're,
Yeah,
not,
that-
they're not supposed to be.
I'm talking.
shouldn't be
Yeah,
stop
Yeah.
there
There
should be stop signs.
signs.
I've seen those all over the place.
No.
Though.
but
Those
then, it's like they have a lane.
they have a whole lane.
You have a lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
and
don't
they'll
know, I
stop
don't know. People
as soon as the lane starts,
Yeah.
and
People
then they'll
slow
stop.
down.
And
I-
then they'll
Indicate
indicate.
over. Yep.
And then
No,
they'll-
I'm the
they'll
complete
try to get
opposite.
over it.
I'm full
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah, you gotta go fast. Get on the highway.
That's the point.
I mean, we're from Jersey, so
Yeah.
you know, in New Jersey, people are really aggressive, right?
Yes.
No.
Like if I'm in Pittsburgh and someone cuts me off, I get really mad because I know they're just gonna like
Slow down.
slow down. But like in New Jersey, someone cuts me off, I'm like, dang, that guy is booking it. I'm already going like double. So if they can pass me, like that's
Yep.
they've got a good car.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh man. So what's going on, Jesse?
Not too much. I was staying late because we were doing some VO recording.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Super Chem, making Dave do all his announcer voices.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Nice.
Nice to see Super Voodoo. Jesse saw your GDC slides, but couldn't understand them without context.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's
That's how Jesse rolls.
how I roll, baby.
So will your talks or notes be available outside of the GDC vault?
That's a good idea, but no.
You should give the talk right now.
Maybe I won't do that. That's
Maybe.
not gonna happen. Yeah, I know my slides are always worthless without context. Yeah, it's a great question.
Well, I don't think you're allowed to, right, or something, or maybe.
I can't like take that same video and put it up.
Right, but you could give it again, maybe.
But yeah, I might give it again. Usually what happens, I end up giving it again somewhere, and we'll post that video when that happens. I don't know where exactly that'll be, but it probably something like that will happen sometime.
What are you not allowed to do? Like post a video?
Like if you're
Post
not
that.
supposed to even make like your own
Your own,
video,
yeah.
and then at GDC,
Yeah.
Right.
post it because I think technically Harley did make a video,
Okay.
No,
but it was for our own purposes.
Right.
Exactly. You're allowed. So the CA, the
And my own
conference.
purpose is to post it on.
YouTube and hit share.
No, but you are allowed to designate one person in the audience to be, and then the CAs won't tell them to stop if it's for your own purpose.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah,
For
so
your own-
pretty much Super Voodoo, just keep a lookout on the Schell Games website or Jesse's website about his next speaking engagement.
Yep.
About the nature of order and narrative. So we'll make sure that you find out where that's going to be. So back to weird Pittsburgh. There's a lot of weird stuff here. that goes on. I'm trying to think of some
Oh my
other.
God.
I mean, well, the language alone
Oh.
is interesting.
Yep.
So there
That is
is
weird.
that.
We were just
yeah, archives. Yeah,
We were
yeah,
talking
that's
about
right.
earlier, fries on salads.
Yeah, I just did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Pittsburgh salad,
Pittsburgh salad.
or the
with fries.
Picks, the Pittsburgh
Yeah,
salad.
Pittsburgh.
Yes, Pittsburgh.
What?
Yeah. It's not a P-I-T-T. It's a P-I-C-K as Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you definitely hear Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so that's a thing.
You guys are listening for it. Yins will hear Pittsburgh.
I see.
Yeah, whew, the Yinzer accent, man. I am
It's a beautiful
glad I
accent.
escaped that.
It hurts. It hurts.
That
No.
reminds me, Weird Paul.
It
has
took
a
me some
video.
years to figure
Oh,
to,
nice.
to even hear it.
It's all about his water heater.
Weird Paul made another video.
Yeah, Weird Paul's got a new video all about his water heater.
Can you explain to them who Weird Paul is?
Weird Paul is just a Pittsburgh treasure.
Weird Paul.
Weird Paul.
Huh.
Yeah, no, Weird Paul is this fascinating guy who he refers to himself as
Weird Paul.
the original vlogger because he started doing all the things that people do now on YouTube, except he started doing them in 1982 when he was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
He had a video camera and he would like make these movies of like, okay, I just got the new McDonald's breakfast. I'm gonna eat it for the first time. He has like hundreds of hours of
Wow.
this kind of thing,
Yeah.
of all this stuff. And he has this weird channel where he mixes up stuff he does today with stuff he did like when he was 12 years old. And part of his deal is he collects these incredibly. He collects things at thrift stores. Every month he has a thrift store haul video where he shows all the amazing stuff you buy at thrift stores. And he has this massive collection of 80s paraphernalia.
So he's just all over YouTube, right? He just posts all this
He's
stuff.
just really pushing the YouTube hard. I think he's released 25 albums in his life.
Yeah,
Wow.
tons of
He's
music.
got like tons of music that he's always cranking out, and then he has all these videos about everything.
Weird Paul.
Weird Paul.
Jacob might know
Now,
Weird Paul.
didn't you show
Yeah,
us one?
Weird Paul.
Did he?
Double Weird Paul. He has a great video about his blockbuster. I bet he does have a great video about that.
What? Didn't you show us one? What was it? He was going over the types of peanut butter.
Yeah, it's
Peanut butter recall.
Yeah, peanut butter. Yeah.
So
Peanut
good.
butter recall.
That's
That's
so
definitely that was
weird.
probably his best video.
I got my kids singing that all the time.
That's
I
probably
love it.
his best video.
I really like that guy who complains about football.
The guy
That was
who
Pittsburgh
won.
Dad.
Pittsburgh Dad.
Oh,
Okay.
Pittsburgh Dad.
Yeah,
He's
sure.
hilarious.
He's the best.
Like I grew up with my dad's friends, or they're all Pittsburgh Dads.
Just like
Yeah,
him.
it's
Just
a
like-
very authentic take.
Oh, it's so it's
It
so
really
good.
is, like it's really,
Yeah.
yeah, he nails it.
Like,
He's from here, right?
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's from like what, Brentwood or something. He's from. I thought he was from the South Hills area. Could be wrong.
He is funny though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Like just going outside. It's like I was like, oh no, he's a Ohio State fan. I'm gonna yell at him. Hey, Jimmy! It so happened. Like
Yeah.
oh, it's so funny.
It's very real.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'm not sure if like people who I don't know how many fans he has outside of Pittsburgh. There's a lot of people here that aren't from Pittsburgh. I don't know how real if they know that he's authentic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know I didn't. I was just like, oh, that's funny. And then
So real.
But like that's like
Yeah, no.
for real. Like for you guys who are from here, you're like, yep.
Yeah, like
Yes.
whatever you see, like the game room, like with the wooden panels, like
Yep.
yes, grew up in that. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's very real. Like everyone from Pittsburgh knows someone who's just like Pittsburgh Dad.
Yeah. Like my dad had those glasses. Like, it was, like just those huge glasses. Oh man, it's so great.
Right, he's really funny though.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, that's
Go home
definitely
and watch some Pittsburgh Dad.
There's a lot of videos,
Yeah. Oh, it's good.
and he's really funny to follow during the football season.
Oh, it's just
Yeah, I didn't know
hilarious.
he made like non-football videos.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, just them going to going to Racks. Like I remember Racks.
Of course.
With the full baked potato.
The Rax Pasta Bar.
That's right. Oh man.
Oh my god. A long time.
Oh. And then yeah, like it's so true. Like the only Racks now is in like Youngstown or something.
Yeah, it's Youngwood.
Yeah. Thank you, Youngwood. Oh,
I've
It's
been,
It's like a king.
Actually, I've got a serious Pittsburgh question that I don't understand. I grew up in New Jersey. All right.
Yep.
Everyone here is from New Jersey, but
Yeah,
or
we-
in Pittsburgh with
We
me.
are now
Yeah,
yeah, that's
outnumbered.
true, isn't it?
White Castle.
Jersey,
White
Jersey,
Castle.
Jersey,
Oh,
Jersey.
White Castle. So good.
You go across eastern Pennsylvania, White Castle, White
Yep.
Castle, White Castle.
Yep.
Mhm.
You get to western Pennsylvania,
Gone.
nothing.
done.
You get to Ohio,
Yep.
White
White
Castle,
Castle.
White
Cleveland.
Castle,
Yep.
White Castle.
Yep.
What the hell? Why are we in a White Castle desert?
Yeah.
That is weird.
You
We have
think
to
the
drive
White
an hour and a
Castle would
half.
make so much sense here?
I
Oh,
agree.
I
I'm
want
with
to
you.
say it was,
agree.
I want to say, because back in the day, it was Checkers. Checkers was all over the place here. And they had some deal with White Castle that White Castle couldn't be here. And there were Checkers all over the place.
Because I went to the White Castle website thinking, you must be able to request, like, hey, bring White Castle to here. And they have a special webpage about it. They're like, yeah, if you're interested in having a White Castle come to your area, we don't want to hear about it. We decide where they're from.
Wow.
Wow. That's, okay.
All right.
I guess you've got a strong
All right, White
position
Castle.
on this. They don't even want to hear about it.
We've had too many requests already.
Yeah,
Jeez.
because Pittsburgh doesn't do great bringing like food in, but they try to bring stuff out. Like
Yeah.
there's Permanis like up and down the East Coast
Oh
now.
my gosh,
Oh, really?
Really?
There's not that many. There's one in Florida.
No, there's a couple in Florida, and they're
Yeah.
opening up two in Georgia.
Permanis in Florida?
It's weird. It was some dude who's like, he knew somebody, and he's like, I want
Yeah.
to open one here. And they're like, okay,
Yeah, they're opening a couple in
we
Georgia.
know you. Go ahead.
They
Alright,
give
guys,
you one of us.
If you ever visit Pittsburgh, okay, just know that Permani's is like the biggest troll. Don't do it. It's terrible.
I tend to
It's
agree.
good.
I mean,
I don't
it's
think
terrible, but you should do it.
Yeah, at least
Once.
once.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
maybe.
That's
Yeah.
what I did too. I did it once, and I was like,
It's
that
not
wasn't that
great.
good.
Don't believe someone who tells you it's great.
Yeah.
Go do it because you're in
I
Pittsburgh.
like
and it's
the
a thing
bread.
to do, I guess.
because it-
Well, I mean, you have to get the right.
Memorable.
Yeah.
You have to get the
It's unique.
right sandwich. Like the pastrami and
They didn't tell me
cheese
that.
is the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of them aren't great. The pastrami and cheese, like that's
I wish I
wow,
would've
that's
You
taken
get, you
that's
get pastrami
beautiful.
and cheese with some hot sauce.
That's it.
Frank's hot sauce.
Yep.
You'll be tasting that for 4 days.
A sandwich that stays with you.
White Castle deserts are growing.
I actually read White Castle desserts are a growing problem.
Also true.
Also,
Don't eat those.
Don't eat the
Those
other.
are a
Don't eat
big
those.
problem.
White
Yeah.
Castle.
White Castle.
White Castle desserts. I like that. Well done.
The chicken rings count as desserts, right? No.
I mean,
I don't
that's what
remember.
you like to eat after your
After your burger.
With the honey barbecue sauce, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I went to a White Castle.
I mean, either.
Because you live in Pittsburgh. You
You
gotta
never
drive
been
to
to one?
Cleveland to go to
No,
one.
I don't know that I've ever seen one.
It's an hour and a half away. It's the closest one.
I've only seen
Cleveland?
one in New Brunswick.
New Brunswick.
I've actually
Yeah, I
Near
went to a White
Rutgers.
Castle in Jersey.
Near Rutgers, where they have the fat sandwiches, which I thought Permanis would be like, but it is not at all like
No,
the fat
it's not.
sandwiches.
I have a story about the New Brunswick one. When I was applying for a job out at Bell Communications Research. I flew in, and I land at the Newark airport, and this is pre-Uber. A guy in a black car picks me up, and he's supposed to take me there. And so he's driving up to Edison, New Jersey, right around where it is.
Yep.
And he's supposed to take me to the hotel, and he cannot find it. And we drive around for like 2 hours, and he cannot find the hotel at all. Because again, there's no smartphones, there's none of
Right.
that.
Oh.
This guy's an idiot. And I don't know the area, so I'm like, I've never lived in this town, I don't know. And eventually after 2 hours, he's like, man, this sucks. I'm so hungry. Should we stop somewhere? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm kind of hungry too. So me and this goofy limo driver went to the White Castle, and we got our White Castle burgers and then drove around for another hour.
Oh my God.
Why didn't you get
We found the
directions
hotel.
from the White Castle?
We did. We did get directions. It didn't help. This guy was
Jeez.
incurable. But at least I got some
Wow.
White Castle, the New Brunswick White Castle.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
It's just like the movie.
It is, it really is.
The White Castle there, that was the only one I've ever been to. It was filmed like pretty close to where I live.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's
where I
cool.
grew up, rather. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
My best thing when I was in high school, we would go to Montclair, New Jersey, somehow my mother would let me, I don't know how this worked, my mother would let me skip school. This doesn't make any sense. When I think back about it, somehow I was skipping school and she would take me to Montclair, New Jersey, and we would go to the Complete Strategist and I'd buy a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons crap, and right next door was a White Castle, and then I would go there.
Wow.
And
Sweet.
Sounds like
yeah,
something.
Go mom.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was about.
Mom's like, let's go.
Yeah,
You're like,
seriously.
yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
Well,
That's a good day.
Yeah,
That is a good day.
That's a good day.
sure enough.
Yeah. Whenever I would skip school in high school, it was so my mom just wanted to know. It was senior year, right? So it was like I was already going, to college and everything, and it was like I would tell. She just wanted to know where I was. Yeah. So it was just like, it was like, hey, we're at the park grilling out. So like, is school out? It is for me. I'll be back by 5. Yeah. But yeah, so I didn't do it often, just senior year. That's it.
Now you're feeling guilty. Look at you.
No, I feel great.
I gotta go grade papers. I'll see you later.
All right,
Later, Jesse.
thanks for stopping by.
Bye.
All right, so we're approaching the end. So the last thing that I wanted to do is to go through a couple of local events. And none of the, wait, Dan, you're with Bidbridge, thank you.
Bidbridge.
So I'll say some things about Bidbridge, and you can
I'll throw a link
help me, fill in the gaps. Sure. So first, what's coming up is Sean, you could say a little bit about this, right? You've been to Techo, right?
Yes.
So Techo.
ShowCon?
Well, it's just Techo.
It's just technical.
Used to be Techo ShowCon, but it's the anime convention here in Pittsburgh. It's huge. Over in the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. Super good time. I'm giving a talk there Thursday night.
Are you really?
I give a talk there every year. Yeah, there's
Wait, I didn't know this.
Yu-Gi-Oh! A to Zeal. It's a trivia. It's a trivia game show. Yeah, my friend Alexis and I have been giving this for the last 7 years.
No way.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
We're an institution. It's a good time.
Okay.
I dress up as Bandit Keith. It's a good time.
Okay, so that is April 5th through the 8th.
Yep.
Sean's giving a talk.
Giving a
there.
talk.
So
and
that's,
I'll be dressed as Sanji on Saturday. So say hi.
Oh, man.
So I'm definitely going. This sounds amazing. Let's see. Then in April 21st is the Pittsburgh Retro Game Conference. Dan?
Yeah, so we're gonna be at Techo too. I think mostly this Saturday though.
Okay.
Retro, we're also gonna be there. So I think it's hosted by Mad Cat Studios.
I think so.
And they do a bunch of retro games. And then, so like I guess if you're into retro games, I don't really know their pitch. But we'll be there too. Yeah, showing off our stuff.
Cool.
Was it convention?
Yeah,
They also make their own
yeah,
cartridges,
convention.
right?
Yeah, they make their own
They make
cartridges.
new games, but
Mhm.
for.
I've seen them
NES
at other
stuff.
places. Yeah, I've
They
seen them.
have their own console. They make cartridges for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And apparently the Pittsburgh Retro Game, it's growing.
Yeah, it's gotten bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's getting bigger.
Yeah, getting bigger.
Which is really cool. So that's popping up more and more. Yeah, and Bidbridge, so with Bidbridge, you guys host a couple of studios, like you guys all pull together, or
How
does that work?
So we have like a table or 2 tables. I think it's either 1 table or 2 tables.
Okay.
And then I guess Ludoko will be there. I think Wither might be there. Wither
I think they're
Studios.
going.
And then Aqua Medium, Tokuteo, I think will be there as well. I have to
Okay.
double check. Yeah.
Okay. But they can go to, thank you. So you can go to bidbridge.space to see the other events that they are going to be at.
Yep.
I came back because I brought the worst game controller of all time.
What is it?
I thought we should have this on the internet. So let's just
Yeah,
show
it's good. Go to the show.
If they can see it right here, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't look too bad. It's kind of weird. It's got this weird joystick on the thumb pad.
It's a little too
weird.
tall.
A little strange, but here, try it. I guess ask everybody to give it a try. See what you think. How do you feel about that as a game controller?
It's not.
That joystick's
Yeah,
really tall.
Yeah, it's really tall. Yeah.
Wait,
Odd.
what?
Oh man.
Oh. Really?
That's really weird.
Wait, what?
It's like a D-pad, but it has
It's got a stick on it.
a stick on it.
Oh, weird.
I think it's maybe the worst game controller of all time.
I could see it being good only for games where you had to just go up like or any direction once, like one step at a time, just like boop 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 boop. That's it. Wow, weird.
I tried at this point. I had the exact same reaction to you guys. Like, that doesn't look so. Whoa.
Oh man, that's
This stick doesn't need to be here.
That is an artifact. You're right, Jacob.
Does it have, what is it? It looks like it has like,
Yeah, I
It
thought they
looks-
were
it's
like
got
buttons
rubber
at the
feet.
bottom.
Yeah.
It's got
What's
big
the
fat rubber
brand?
feet.
Yeah, and
It's a wireless controller with infrared.
oh my
That
goodness.
sounds like not a great.
Where did you find it?
I found it in the internet.
turbo.
You got turbo.
Does it have turbo buttons?
Turbo.
You need that
What more-
Turbo buttons.
What more do you need? Maybe does the turbo
Well,
work with
let me
the
It's
make
interesting
keypad?
too because they have these pads at the bottom, so
Even
it's
weirder,
like
the cable that it has.
they want you
yeah,
to-
yeah, in case you want to use like normal.
It's a 9-pin cable, so it works on an Atari.
Mhm.
But the Atari doesn't have A and B buttons,
Right.
so that makes no sense.
Right.
But of course, with 9 pins, you could also be a Sega Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
But that has a C
That has a
button.
C
and there's
button.
no
There's a
C
C
button.
button.
It just nothing about this controller makes sense.
I wonder if it would actually be good for fighting games where I need to like input specific moves.
No,
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Not any better than
No.
a regular.
I remember I had an off-market Nintendo controller which you could screw in a joystick top a lot like that,
Mhm.
but it was ridiculous for all the reasons that is, and so we would just play it without it screwed in. It was just a D-pad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not great.
Yep.
That's probably the worst
Thanks for
controller
that.
I've
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Crazy controller. What?
Yeah.
Imagine an alt-control game that actually used that thing.
Infrared. That's not quick.
Like so.
Mm-mm.
That's what the turbo button's for.
Oh, there it is. You found the use.
makes the light level faster.
Yeah.
Becomes the,
All right. Let's see. Next, what's coming up? Oh, can you talk a little bit about the Ignite talks with BitBridge?
The lightning talks.
Lightning talks. Yes.
Yeah. May
Yes.
19th.
May 19th,
I
yep.
think you.
Yeah, Marlene.
Marlene is the point person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. May 19th, 2 p.m. at Schell Games.
Mm-hmm.
You can give, if you're interested in giving a talk, just get in touch with us. But lightning talks are basically 5-minute talks. And so if you're interested in the topic, you can find the person afterwards and talk to them more. And if you're not interested in the topic, well, it's only 5 minutes. So,
That's it.
yeah, it's going to be a good time.
is there going to be pizza?
There'll be food of some kind.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
Probably.
Yeah, Schell Games is sponsoring some food.
That's
so.
right. That's
awesome.
right.
What are the topics?
Unclear. Unclear.
You'll find out.
You'll find out.
Does anyone ever like throw tomatoes or anything?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You can be the first.
It is going to be in the
first.
midway,
Still
so maybe
time.
not.
So I still think you could be boring in 5 minutes.
Oh, I can definitely be boring.
Yeah, you could do it.
I'm really boring in too.
That's a challenge.
It's 5 minutes.
I'm bored too.
I want to see that show.
That's right.
Mike bores you in
It's
2 minutes. flat.
boredom.
Mike,
No.
come
It's just me falling asleep in a chair.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome. See, May 24th, we have the spring open house here, 6:30 to 8:30. Go to remakelearningdays.org to sign up. It's free, but we want you to sign up so we know how many people are coming, so we can supply all the food and non-alcoholic drink for all of our guests.
The open house is awesome. If you're anywhere near Pittsburgh, you should come check it
Yes,
out. It's
please
super
come.
fun.
It's really fun. Yeah, it's good.
Even if you're, I don't know how far Powhatan, Virginia is, but you should come by. It's a good time. Then, what's next? Then we have Replay FX, July 26th through 29th.
Yep.
Sean will also be there, giving a talk.
I give talks everywhere.
with
With
Jesse.
Jesse as part of TuneFest for
Yep.
Toontown
Oh
Rewritten.
man, they were huge last year.
Yeah.
I'm there every year.
It's a
Every
great,
year.
Great group of
And-
people doing a great thing. Super fun.
And they expanded
Yeah.
for this year. Yeah,
Wow.
so they're even bigger than they were last year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go this year.
Replayfest is the best.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, so there's that. And then, let's see. So this isn't in Pittsburgh, but it's Mid-Atlantic, and I went last year and I really enjoyed it, so I want more people to go. It's the GDEX, the Game Developers Expo in Columbus. That's September 29th and 30th, and they have a Dev Day September 28th. It was a really cool event. Showed a lot of indie devs, smaller indie devs in Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Indiana, Illinois region. So it was really cool to see. And it was their first year in the Columbus Convention Center. And so their 5th year overall is going to be their 6th year, I believe. And it was really cool. So I hope more people were able to go and support that part of the dev community.
What was it called?
GDEX. So the website is the GDEX, GDEX.
Okay, should probably.
Yeah, so they're, and again, yeah, part of it is by the multivarious people out in Columbus, but they're really cool. Future dinners. So next month, next month, which is April, we have the intern edition. It'll be me and our HR manager, Lauren Reed, with all 8 of our interns, talking about their experience and what they, how they got the internship, what led them, to the departments that they were interning. Some of what they worked on, they'll be able to talk about that, and then Lauren will kind of wrap it up of how we look for interns, how does that process go. So that'll be a really good one.
It's a good idea.
What's up?
Required for the interns.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, we
have to attend.
We haven't asked for their participate. They're doing it. So, and we love them for it. We love them for it. So thank you in advance for participating in the
Thank
April
you,
event.
interns, for choosing to participate.
Yeah, voluntold, right?
Yeah.
And then we're the May's to be determined. We're trying to do something really cool, but we'll, if not, then I'll announce it later. But in June, verbal agreement, we're working out the details with the team from the Pittsburgh Knights, the esports team, will be coming in. Their Hearthstone player and their Super Smash Brothers player should be in the house. So that'd be pretty cool. I think their team manager, hopefully their team owner will come to talk about how they got the esports team started in Pittsburgh, and try to give you guys a background on that. So that'd be really cool. So any last words, folks?
No.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
Cool. And as always, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. You'll get notifications about when we do our next event, or whenever we upload videos of our trailers of our new games and experiences that we are pushing out. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, at Schell Games, all of that stuff. You can follow our Twitch channel too. I think some people still stream there, but we do a lot of our stuff on YouTube now, so yeah, as you guys can attest to that. And thanks for hanging out with us.
Peace.
See ya.
Bye.